Did I decide to have a super sweet foamy latte instead of some drip coffee from the pot like I do every single morning, where I prep it by the night before around 10 p.m., putting a fresh filter, ground coffee, filling the machine with water, and then programming it so that the moment I get up in the morning, I'm ready for my essentially IV drip of caffeine to get me started? Yeah, I did. To the lab! Oh, wait. Today's track is a brand new original from Shayan Regan. When in Rome, the description says when in Rome, original, pop, new music, BandLab pop, trending. And if it's from this guy, you know it's going to be good. We'll call this worldwide premiere for BandLab Plus Coffee. Now, back to the lab. Time to wake up, wind up, and cue up with another excellent BandLab track. Over here on the lab, we've got When in Rome by Shayan Regan at ShayanRegan, out of London, UK, repping 1,000 followers, following 0. We got this original pop track, When in Rome. It actually just posted to the feed a few minutes ago. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Nintendo Wii vibes? Ooh. I feel you. Let's go!
You walking through the door, take the floor, catch my eye. As you getting close,
that Michael Bublé stuff.
Temperature spike. The next thing I know, I got you on my mind. Tu mi possiedi. Whoa, you got me hypnotized.
Yes.
We fit each other so fine, don't wanna get away.
Dropping out the music.
So lead the way, why don't you spell it out?
Where are my lyrics down here,
Make
Shane?
sure I know it the next time I get to see.
That falsetto, though.
And we can keep each other up all night. Single looking down on my knees, praying right. Baby, you give me something to believe.
This is really great because it gives me Michael Bublé vibes, but simultaneously gives me Justin Timberlake vibes with that particular style of background vocals. 2020 experience. This brass is doing its thing. Ooh, adding some verb to those snaps.
Exactly what you say. I'm never one for the games you like to play.
I'm never one for the games you like to play.
Anyway, till you do, you won't let it go. You want it darker, so we turn the lights down low. It's getting hotter and you're starting to shine like gold.
It's getting hotter and you're starting to shine like gold.
We'll set this room on this time. We'll set the world on fire. There's no such thing as time for when we
throwing in that falsetto.
And the only thing that's going back and forth is you and I.
Ooh, nice yell in the background with the panning.
Know exactly how to tie me up. Make love from dusk till dawn.
Love it.
If you say we haven't got too long, then why stop or wait? Oh, when we can. All night, baby, you give me something.
Great transitions.
This map will take me where I wanna be. Black and white, this crystal clear to me, your ecstasy. And now we're here, it's like I waited for this all my life. You feel it being in heaven and hell at the same time. The sunrise.
I just want to vibe to this. Get your wedding playlists ready. This is going to be on the dance floor. brass vocalizing. What a fun, uplifting, excellent track. Seriously, get your wedding playlist ready because this slaps and we vibe. Man, let's jump over to 2 things I love and 1 thing I want more of. The first thing I love about this track is this vocal. Shayan's all over the place. He has normal vocals in his chest voice, and then he jumps up to his head voice right over here. And bring it back down. Come on. Going into the chorus. So we go everywhere, and it continues throughout the song where we use chest voice, jump into head voice, get some mixed stuff going on, right back down into chest voice. And the background vocals the whole time are complementing whichever one he's doing to kind of give it a little more thickness. So when we're up in our falsetto, we've got a lower octave, or was it a harmony? Let's listen.
Next time I get to see,
Sounds like an octave melody. So we have a second layer to the vocals where he's singing lower. You've got the I, and then another one behind it, much lower, going I, so that we give it some thickness, but we really focus in on the falsetto. Excellent. And then whenever we're in the low space, we've got background vocals that are up in the high end that are just giving us this juxtaposition, changing positions, and creating this really great vocal dynamic throughout the entire track. Very awesome, very great, very much a Justin Timberlake style vocal with a Michael Bublé style song. Where's that collaboration? We need that collaboration. Maybe this is it. The second thing that I love in this track is the brass. All right. Throughout the song, we have the brass backing up the vocal, which bolsters it even more. This is a trick in electronic music that gets used a lot, where a synth will be put behind a vocal and it will play the same melody that the vocal is singing, and it'll create almost an entirely new vocal tone. And a lot of times your brain kind of can confuse that for a vocoder or a synth that's a vocal chop rather than a vocal performance that has a synth behind it bolstering the vocal. And in this track, you'll hear the brass go with the vocal. If the vocal goes doot, 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 the brass will go doot, 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 right? So it does that throughout the track, which gives the vocal this really great tone. But then we get into the final chorus, and it starts by backing up the vocal, but then it switches to being beside the vocal in its own placement, doing its own melody thing while the vocal continues. Listen to it, back it up. Now it's gonna kind of go off and do its own thing. It's like, been there, done that. Time to do our own thing. Do you hear that? Because that's excellent. And that's excellent use of an instrument that makes music better. Strings and brass. You want to make your pop music better? Strings and brass when used correctly. And, you know, kind of like a dash of salt adds flavor. This is an excellent use of added flavor. If there's one thing I want more of, and believe me, this track is excellent, it doesn't need to change. Don't change for anyone when in Rome. But if there's one thing that I want more of, towards the end here, the same thing that I love about the track also creates a space where the vocal begins to get lost slightly, simply because it sounds like maybe we've turned up the brass once it becomes its own thing in the vocal. It gets louder. And in this case, I think it maybe gets louder to the point where we have this really nice crispy vocal sitting on top, or rather with the mix, kind of nicely on top. But then when we get here, when the brass becomes its own animal, we kind of begin to lose the vocal a little bit behind the brass. And once that happens, it kind of ceases to be this on-stage Michael Bublé style thing, and it puts the brass in front of the vocal. And in my summation of music, which is by no means the be-all, end-all, ever, whatsoever, the vocal should just be in front. That's it. So there is nothing wrong with this. It's phenomenal. That's just kind of the one thing I want more of. I want a shift on that final chorus. I know the brass becomes its own animal, but I still want the vocal to be my primary focal point, regardless of how hard I'm tuning in. And I feel like the brass frequency range on the EQ spectrum kind of takes over some of the important vocal frequency range on the EQ spectrum. Other than that, this is just phenomenal. So everyone should jump over to BandLab and follow Shayan Regan out of London, UK. And, while you're over there, you should follow DJTatious, whether it's on BandLab, YouTube, or wherever you choose to consume your social media. Thank you so much for waking up, winding up, and queuing up with us for another excellent track. And I will see you next time.